His Majesty Jigme Khesar Namgyal Wangchuk, the present King of Bhutan, is one of them. In India, we have at the apex of our national security structure two of NDC alumni, Sri Ajit Doval, the National Security Advisor, and General Bipin Rawat, India's first Chief of Defence Staff. Of the 3,999 members till date, many have risen to high positions in their governments and have served their countries with distinction. Friends, it gives me great pleasure to congratulate all members being awarded the Master of Philosophy degree today. I am aware that all of you have undergone the rigors of academic research towards pragmatic policy solutions to many of the challenges being faced by your government in contemporary times. I am sure the NDC course would have enhanced your insight into the strategic challenges and opportunities facing your nations today, and also equipped you for greater responsibilities of strategic leadership and policy formulation. While the COVID pandemic brought with it immense difficulties in our everyday lives, I am pleased to know that the NDC, true to its strategic reputation, turned the challenge into opportunity. Two courses, the previous and the current one, which is nearing completion, went through smoothly without any loss of curriculum content except for some study tours. The swift innovative exploitation of technology to carry out online strategic gaming exercises and conduct interactive virtual tours became a benchmark for many academic institutions and a training establishment to replicate. I would also like to specially compliment the University of Madras, which has since 2006 been closely associated with NDC and in running its MPhil curriculum on defense and strategic studies. Friends, the role of knowledge as one of the biggest assets of a nation has long been recognized. We in India have not only maintained a long tradition of imparting knowledge, but also keeping our teachers and gurus on the highest pedestal of society. In fact, prayers are offered to Saraswati, the goddess of knowledge, as a recognition of this very ancient custom. Knowledge and wisdom have been held as the highest attributes in our society, and those who have possessed these have guided our destiny as a civilization and as a country. The ancient Indian epic Mahabharata is one great example of knowledge, wisdom, and statecraft coming together to steer the course of the life and times of kings and kingdoms. Vidur, the Prime Minister, you can say Prime Minister, Vidur, the Prime Minister of the Kuru Empire, followed the path of righteousness, dharma, and knowledge while dealing with matters of the state. And this was despite the unenviable position in service of the Kauravas. 3. Krishna brought together the trinity of knowledge, wisdom, and statecraft to ensure victory of good over evil. His understanding of dharma as a principle to serve humanity and the state rather than merely individual actions is relevant for states even today. Friends, I am giving you these examples to reinforce the guiding principles that were laid down when National Defence College was established. We are aimed at building strategic leadership at the national and international level. These principles are the very essence of our strategic thought. These were as relevant in the ancient times of the Mahabharata as these are today to overcome present-day challenges. The quest for the quality displayed by Vidur and Sri Krishna remains inherent to our learning. Similarly, we have been guided by the role played by Kautilya in the court of Chandragupta Maurya. And I am happy to note that there is an increasing interest in his thought with the strategic community. Friends, even as I refer to these age-old traditions that highlight the importance of knowledge in our society, let me also clarify the knowledge can be transferred, but not the wisdom. However, at institutions like National NDC, we can provide you with the requisite opportunity, tools, and environment to not only enhance your knowledge, but facilitate your quest for gaining wisdom. Your experience at NDC, coupled with that of your professional and personal life, will undoubtedly contribute to a more nuanced approach to problem solving and decision making. It would be useful to relate these very skills with the prevailing geopolitical environment and especially the fast changing conditions within our neighborhood. You will probably realize that the prevailing circumstances are likely to severely test most skill sets given the complexity of the conditions. Friends, it is in this context that I have deliberately mentioned these three attributes today. Let me repeat these and relate them to the emerging challenges in India's neighborhood. These new challenges have not only been the focus of attention in our country, but have rightfully become a matter of concern across the world. The knowledge allows us to understand the historical, social, geopolitical, and economic realities of a country and a region. It tells us about the circumstances that led to the recent developments in Afghanistan. More importantly, it is wisdom that will help interpret this factual understanding to facilitate far-sighted decision making. And this comes from experience, deep understanding of human behavior, the ability to judge circumstances without being swept away by the tide of what is immediate or apparently the most obvious. Wisdom is also closely associated with righteousness. And finally, statecraft brings to bear the understanding of strategic thought and culture to everyday realities. It facilitates decision making in pursuit of long-term interests. Friends, the recent events in Afghanistan have highlighted the reality of our times. The only certainty about evolving geopolitics is its uncertainty. Changes in state boundaries may not be as frequent today as they once were. However, the fast transforming structure of states and the influence that external powers can have on it is clearly evident. These events raise questions regarding the very role of power politics and the use of terrorism as a tool to change the state structures and behavior also. As students of strategic affairs, the events in Afghanistan should draw lessons far beyond the immediate reverberations that are being felt in the region and beyond. When these events are viewed, it is tempting to believe that terrorism, fear, medieval thoughts, and actions, discriminations drawn on the basis of gender, practices that are steeped in inequality and dogmatic thought can sweep aside the wishes of the people, plural ideas, and inclusive structures. Nothing can be farther from reality, and human history is a great teacher in this regard. As is our experience with many a Dharma Yuddha that our subcontinent has experienced over centuries of its existence. Injustice, however powerful, cannot and will not defeat the collective power of the goodness that is inherent to human existence. This sentiment is evident from an increasing number of world capitals which have lent their voice in favor of liberalism, inclusivity, and respect for international norms of governance and behavior. Friends, there is a growing realization of what India has been voicing for long with regard to the active support of Pakistan to violent radical and terror groups. Today, the world is witness to the destabilizing effect of terror and the especially dangerous precedents of violent radical forces attempting to gain legitimacy by creating new normals. The turmoil caused in the region has been brought about by aggressive designs and the active support to non-state players by irresponsible states. Today, there is a widespread realization amongst all responsible nations towards a common understanding and the need to come together against this common menace. This is the field where institutions like the NDC play a key role in fostering such understanding and finding solutions together with our like-minded international friends. Friends, let me now draw your attention to the serious issue of the challenging landscape of threats facing our country. We are faced with belligerents on our land borders, challenging the status quo, cross-border support to terrorism, and increasing efforts to counter our goodwill and outreach in our neighborhood. In the last decade, India has grown stronger in every way and has assumed a greater global role and responsibility. While it is totally committed to peace and goodwill amongst all nations, it has shown its steely resolve that threats to its internal and external security will no longer be tolerated. Our actions in Balakot and Galwan are clear signals to the aggressors that by attempt to threaten our sovereignty will be given a swift and befitting response. From a security perspective, the nation and our military are acutely aware that the future military strategy and responses will need proactive synergy amongst all elements of our armed forces to safeguard our national security interests. While the conventional threat remains, the grey zone threats necessitate the adoption of an all-of-government approach with all elements of state power coming together to anticipate and mitigate future challenges. Friends, one aspect where both knowledge and wisdom coincide is the ability to seek and gain self-reliance. India has for too long remained dependent on import-driven technologies. These not only come at a high long-term financial cost, but also undermine the intellectual capital of our own industry. No country that aspires to develop as a knowledge-based economy can sustain such reliance on defense imports. The Honorable Prime Minister's emphasis of Atmanirbharta emerges from the wisdom of not only self-reliance but also self-esteem and self-belief. Distinguished attendees, you are well aware that the enhancing character of conflicts is also transforming the tools that are likely to be employed in the clash of interests of nation-states as well as non-state actors. Cyber, space, artificial intelligence, and the big data analytics are some of these areas that are fast emerging as enablers in this context. The world has witnessed rapid transformation in all these areas of scientific knowledge, and this technological progression must be accompanied by its military interpretation within the strategic community. This is where the role of institutions like NDC again comes to the fore. Look beyond the obvious. Look besides the perspectives that is presented to you. Look deeper. Friends, let us reinforce yet another principle that is often quoted, though in a different context. It is the idea of the Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. The whole world is a family. This thought of the whole world is a family is not only relevant socially and economically in globalized world. It is also relevant strategically also. It can only reinforce the urgent need to create a unified approach to conflicts both within the country and globally. Be it against terrorism or cyber challenges, success can only come by unifying our national diversities And in response to these contemporary and emerging threats, the introduction of strategic leadership, space, cyber, and advanced technologies in the curriculum and as research subjects by NDC is a welcome step. Friends, the recent past has witnessed this very unity of effort in the fight against COVID-19. Ideas, experiences, and the scientific know-how was shared to produce vaccine in the time frame that the world had never witnessed before. Scientists and the industry worked day and night to create vaccine and production facilities like the ones in India to support billions of people worldwide. There is no better example of unity in diversity and Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam than the fight against the pandemic in the recent times. This example is truly strategic from its inception to its implementation. Distinguished attendees, it gives me great pleasure to note that NDC too has responded to the needs of capacity building and diversified in the reach and linkages in the recent past. This includes the initiative of Agile Strategic Assessment Tasks. Your closer participation with the policy-oriented research and provision of input for decision-making is welcome. This will be beneficial to the government as well as to those participating in this process. Friends, in view of the growing challenges and demand for this course from within the region and world at large, the government initiated a one-time enhancement of the course capacity. Over the last 2 years, the college increased its intake to cater for 10 additional members this year, which will increase to a total of 120 members for the course next year, as it was appraised by you also. Distinguished attendees, in the end, I congratulate all the members of the 59th NDC course who have been awarded MPhil degree this morning. I wish all of you great success in your future endeavors and am confident that you will earn great laurels for yourself and your countries. And in doing so, you will make both this country and the NDC proud. I once again thank the Commandant Air Marshal Diptendu Chaudhary for inviting me for the convocation ceremony. May the National Defence College grow in strength and stature in the years to come and continue its humane service to the nation. Thank you very much. Jai Hind.
नमस्कार, मैं हूं मानक गुप्ता। अगर आपको हमारा ये वीडियो पसंद आया हो तो इसे लाइक और शेयर जरूर करें और हाँ, हमें सब्सक्राइब और फॉलो करना ना भूलें ताकि आप देश और दुनिया की कोई खबर मिस ना करें। तो जुड़े रहिए हमारे साथ और देखते रहिए न्यूज़ 24।